DoorDash tells you peak pay is a bonus to help you earn more money. Sounds great, right? An extra $1, $2, maybe even $5 on every single delivery. Who wouldn't want that? But here's the thing, that's only half the story. In this video, I am going to show you how DoorDash uses peak pay to manipulate you as a dasher, flood your area with drivers, and how, in my experience, it can actually make you earn less money than on a totally normal day. But I'm going to prove to you that peak pay is one of the most deceptive tools in the Dasher app. It's a system designed to benefit them, not you. And today we are pulling back the curtain and let's get right into it. So what does DoorDash say? Well, according to their own support pages, peak pay is an extra chunk of cash you get when it's busy. Think of a lunch rush, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., or the dinner wave from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m., especially on weekends. When DoorDash expects more orders than drivers, they light up a zone with a bonus to get more of us out on the road. The promise is simple. Take an order when peak pay is active, and that bonus gets tacked on to that order. It's framed as a simple equation. More demand equals more money for you, right? But what they don't tell you is what happens when hundreds of other drivers see that same juicy offer. They leave out the part where the very tool they use to attract you is the same one that can absolutely tank your earnings for the night. They're solving their problem, but it might be creating a really big one for you. All right, so picture this. You are in your car, it's Friday night, should be one of the best times to dash, and right on cue, DoorDash is flashing a big $3 peak pay across your entire zone. The app is bright red, it's screaming very busy. A few years ago, seeing that honestly would have made me think I was gonna crush it for the night, but I've learned a thing or two since then. So here's my theory for this peak pay. I bet even with a $3 peak pay, you're going to get fewer orders per hour, you're going to wait longer between them, and finally, your hourly pay might actually be less than what you would have made on a regular boring Tuesday with no peak pay at all. It sounds backwards. But that's the trap. That peak pay bonus is like a bat signal for every driver in a 10-mile radius. The map is red, but it's because there are tons of drivers, not necessarily a crazy amount of orders. That very busy status seems to me more about DoorDash needing drivers on standby to get orders delivered. They use that peak pay to make sure that those crummy, low-tip orders actually get picked up. They know what you will and won't take. They know you won't take a 9-mile trip for only $3.50, but when it shows up at $6.50, obviously still decline it because it's crap, but they're hoping someone gets tired of waiting and then bites to get that order. It's a shell game. If you're out dashing during peak pay, this might actually be one of your aha moments that you have had. And it might be that you've been sitting for over an hour and not gotten anything, and finally you decide to drive over to a main restaurant strip to see what's really going on, just as what you probably thought. You see that every parking lot is packed with cars and drivers just sitting with their phones waiting for the next order to come in. I personally at one time have counted at least a dozen or even more dashers in a 2-block radius. This is how it operates. The big red map makes you think money, but it's deception. The map is red because they've successfully created a massive surplus of drivers. Their goal for that night wasn't to make you rich. Their goal was to solve their own problem, make sure every order, from the one with the huge tip to the one with the no tip, all gets delivered and gets delivered fast. By throwing out a $3 bonus, they flooded markets. Now they have a huge pool of drivers, and many will get frustrated and eventually just take one of those bad offers just to make something while they're out there. They've used a small bonus to get their whole queue of orders completely cleared off their board, and it's at the driver's expense. The peak pay isn't a prize, it's the bait. So what's the big secret? It's this. Peak pay is not really a reward for you. It's a tool for DoorDash. It's their number one way to control the driver's supply to meet their own goals, which are often the exact opposite of our own goals, which is to make the most amount of money as possible. They use it to flood zones to ensure every order gets picked up, keeping the platform fast and reliable for the customers. It's cheaper for them to offer a blanket $2 bonus than to raise the base pay on all of the individual low tip orders to make them worth taking. It's also a great distraction from the fact that base pay on many orders feels like it's shrunk over the years, which it definitely has. Plus, the whole system is a black box. The algorithm deciding when and where to offer peak pay is a huge mystery to us drivers. And at least in my market, I feel like I'm seeing big bonuses less and less than I normally would have. Let me know if you're seeing that in your market as well. I feel like they're conditioning us to get excited for smaller scraps, while the effect on our time and earnings stay the same. They are solving their logistics problem with our time and our gas, all while calling it a perk for us. If you're getting some value out of this, and if you're seeing the exact same thing happening in your market, do me a favor and hit that like button. It also helps get this information out to other drivers who need to hear it. So does this mean you should just avoid peak pay altogether? Not really, but you have to be smart about it. You have to see peak pay less as a bonus and more as a warning signal of potential oversaturation. Here's how to handle it. First, be skeptical of big bonuses. A high value peak pay of $3 or more is most likely to flood your zone, just like I saw just the other night. A $1 bonus is actually better because it doesn't pull every driver known to man off of their couch. Second, think about dashing on the edge of peak pay zones or even in nearby zones that doesn't have a bonus. While everyone else piles into the hot area to fight over the same orders, you can often stay busier in a zone or in a small cluster of restaurants everyone else is ignoring. Call it your own personal hot zones. Third, and this is the most important one, you have the multi-app during peak pays. Running other apps is not an option, it's a must. The other night, while I was doing a peak pay and I was waiting for an offer, I took an order from another platform to keep me getting more money and to keep the wheels moving. Relying just on DoorDash during a big peak pay can honestly be sometimes a real gamble. Finally, if you don't care about acceptance rates, be pickier than ever. Unfortunately, if you care about acceptance rates, then you can't do that. But DoorDash often uses bonuses to push their junk orders through. So if you have some acceptance rates points kind of built up, if you're in the tier system, you might want to use them during peak times. Don't let $3 bonuses trick you into taking terrible offers. A bad order is just another bad order with a bonus attached to it. It's still a bad order. Look at the total payout versus the miles and the time it's going to take you before you even think about taking some of these orders. The peak pay should just be a little extra, not the reason why you actually accept the order. The truth is, peak pay is a double-edged sword, and DoorDash only shows you the shiny side. They sell it as an easy way to make more cash, but it often creates a super competitive environment that can slash your hourly pay. By flooding the market, they solve their problems, but they create new ones for you as a dasher. Understanding how it works is the key to protecting your time and your money. Don't be the bait in this scenario. What's been your experience with peak pay? Is it a boom for you, or is it a total bust like it was, or is it a total bust just like it usually is for me? Drop your stories in the comments below. I read every single one of them. I was dropping a lot of truth today about peak pays. Well, there's also a truth behind the PIN required deliveries on DoorDash. Have you been seeing a lot more of them lately? You're going to want to check this video out next to see why.